Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Hedera and HBAR. So with that being said, let's just dive in and let's start off with CoinMarketCap. So I am recording this video a little bit earlier in the day, so I'm not really focused too heavily on short-term price action. You guys know me, I'm more so long-term, especially when we really kind of look at the technology behind the space. But I do want to go over a few things regarding crypto, specifically the price of HBAR. Me personally, I do believe that Hedera and HBAR is set to take over this space in terms of a massive giant that is overlooked, undervalued, and ultimately really kind of building behind the scenes while everyone is kind of ignoring it. If we scroll down, we do know that HBAR or Hedera is at number 30 right now on the top 100 list. This is very significant, right? I think that a top 30 token right now is pretty big. I mean, listen, when we compare it to QNT, for an example, with QNT being almost at number 40, this is actually a pretty big move for HBAR. And even when we compare it to some of the other big tokens out there, like for example, the Graph, which by the way, the Graph was a massive winner in 2021. But also you look at Algo and Avi and some other big tokens here as well that are outside of the top 50. And well, when we look back at HBAR, it's been moving up the ranks. In my opinion, I do believe that Hedera has started to really kind of showcase itself as a fundamental piece in this space, as a disruptor, but also as a giant. I think that over the last couple years, specifically the last 2 years, Hedera has made its name in this game, and I do think that people are not really kind of looking at it the way that they should be right now, sitting under 6 cents. As we look at the ecosystem, it has been growing. I know that this image is a little bit low res, but listen, it's still true. Like as we look at all of the major players on the Hedera scene, this ecosystem has been expanding rapidly. And I know that I don't speak for myself when I say that if you've been following Hedera for the last couple years, then you would know that seeing the ecosystem today and seeing everything that has been happening on Hedera today versus 2021, it's extremely night and day. This is also something that I do think will be very beneficial for us in the next major run up, because we literally just seen an entire new social media platform get announced on Hedera. Galaxy launched on Hedera. It's live. It's operational. You could go and use Galaxy right now. Think about that. Hedera has these huge live working platforms and projects. We see use of the network growing every single day, and it's just starting. As we really kind of look at the next run up in this market, I do think that Hedera is going to be a major winner. I think that it could very well, reach the top 10. I know that a lot of people have been saying the top 5. Don't know about that, but listen, anything is possible in this space. I want to go over a few things in this video, and I do want to talk a little bit about possible price movements on HBAR as well. But I also want to first start off with this tweet for myself. I quoted LG Art Lab because they tweeted out saying Hedera HBAR forms strategic partnership with banking and MasterCard, a pioneering move that connects Hedera with conventional banking and the MasterCard network, preparing users for access to MasterCard payment gateway services and future digital asset solutions. The integration enables frictionless international trade, safe payments, and a wider range of financial services, reflecting Hedera's commitment to using blockchain technology to advance democratic principles. The HBAR token has seen a positive market response with a jump of more than 3% since last week. In a groundbreaking move that promises to reshape the landscape of digital finance, Hedera HBAR has announced a strategic partnership integration, with Fresh Supply Co. AU to integrate with the Continuity API. This integration will enable seamless connections to banks and the MasterCard network, bridging the gap between decentralized blockchain technology and conventional financial infrastructure. Now, I did quote this and I did say, this is what I have been talking about. While there are those out there looking at this space from a competitive lens, I'm looking at it differently. Stop boxing yourselves in thinking there will only be one winner. I love all of these assets, but don't miss HBAR. Hedera has been absolutely killing it. This post from LGR Lab really puts it into perspective on how big of a key HBAR is becoming in the traditional world and the future world of finance. The future is being built through a lot of these great networks, and I am so excited for the world to realize it in time. And yes, like as we really kind of look at what HBAR has become, I think that it's significant to mention all of the great connections that they have made in the last 2 years and all of the great initiatives that we have seen. The team has been nonstop building. Hedera has been nonstop expanding, and all we really need to wait for is the price action. Also, there was a great video that got posted, and this is from the HBAR Bull. Go check him out over on YouTube as well as on Twitter. And we do see stablecoins may be one of Hedera's killer apps. This week, we have seen some examples from Sushil Drop and Drop, and from Rob Noddle in Shark Bites. Rob teases exciting developments we will be covering in the weeks to come. And check this out.
Now, stablecoins on Hedera have a number of different flavors. You could have just a smart contract based one, utilizing the Hedera smart contract service. And an example of that would be what ANZ Bank did last year. They took their Solidity smart contract that they have on Ethereum and ported it onto Hedera, and just out of the box used it on the smart contracts service, our EVM. The second type is purely token service based stablecoin. And an example of that is the USDC. So the Circle issued USDC on Hedera is an HTS token. They're both collateralized in a similar way with cash in escrow, or a fiat in escrow, but two different mechanisms. And then the third type is a hybrid model, and you've heard me refer to the stablecoin accelerator that Swirls Labs and Greg Scullard and his team have been developing. That has a Hedera token service token for wallet-to-wallet transfer, but it has all its administration functions via a smart contract, which enables you to set up role-based controls and keys on the functions of the token, so mint and burn and wipe and the KYC flag and all of those good things. So we've got three different types of stablecoin in the Hedera ecosystem. The latter is by far the best. It's bank grade. It comes out of the box with hooks into custody providers and fraud management tooling and auditing and token control mechanisms. So we're very excited about that open source technology, the Stablecoin Accelerator, which we will be able to talk a lot more about over the coming weeks, because there's some very, very exciting initiatives and announcements about to be made built around that technology.
And of course, you guys all know how big stablecoins have become in the last couple years, and even just the last couple months. And I do think that this is a big one. I think that Hedera is suitable for a lot of these great initiatives around payments. We know that Hedera is extremely efficient around transactions. So I do think, and I expect for this to be pretty big, especially for the network. But also, I do want to talk to you guys about something I've seen. $10 trillion. A valuation put on crypto that could very well possibly happen. So Raoul Pal is predicting that the total market capitalization for crypto will soon soar to $10 trillion as institutions pour into the digital asset space. Now listen, I don't know if we're going to see $10 trillion in this next run up. Is it possible? Sure, it is. But I'm a little bit more conservative on this. I do think that we could see anywhere between $5 to $7 trillion. Now, why am I bringing this up? Why am I even talking about it? Well, it's very simple, right? As we look at the space today, we do know that most of these tokens, in the top 10 at least, are holding almost 1% market dominance, meaning their market capitalization is holding almost 1% to the overall global crypto market cap. So as we look at this, and as we go back to the past cycle runs where we've seen, a lot of these tokens hitting $100 billion plus market caps, I want you guys to understand that the top 10 is notorious for having anywhere between 25 to up to $100 billion plus in market cap for a lot of these altcoins. If we are looking at HBAR, okay, currently speaking, it has almost 2% market dominance. That is practically nothing when we look at the top 10. As we look at Dogecoin almost has 1% of the market capitalization. We look at Ethereum, and Ethereum has almost 19%. As we look at XRP almost has 3%. Even ADA almost coming in at 1%. Going back in time to XRP, we do know that around roughly 3% has been a big area in which we've hit almost every single cycle. ADA, I have at around roughly 2.4%. We do know that it ran up to almost like 4.5%. Solana, roughly around like 2.4%. This is the major area of interest, I should say, at least. And then we have HBAR. So here is HBAR during the last major run up. Most of the major resistance and the big area that it got tested at was roughly about 0.25%. So 1/4%. If we are going off of the $10 trillion market cap, and if we're talking about just 0.25%, we're looking at roughly about a 76-cent HBAR. That would be the topping point for 0.25% market capitalization, dominance wise. Now, do we expect HBAR to have much more dominance this cycle versus the 2021 cycle due to the fact that there's a lot more happening on the network? And in my opinion, yes, I do think that we deserve to have a lot more market capitalization in terms of dominance. And if that is the case, where could we go? Well, going off of the 2% of most of these tokens, at 2%, at a $10 trillion market capitalization, we would be sitting at roughly about $200 billion in market cap, roughly about a $6 HBAR. Now, I've talked about $3 to $6 for a very long time on HBAR. We were really kind of expecting HBAR to perform a lot better during 2021. This was not the case. But even if we are going off of the $5 trillion market capitalization, which I'm personally expecting, this is a $100 billion market cap, roughly about a $3 HBAR. If we are going off the max supply for HBAR at this, it's still roughly about a $2 HBAR. Again, this is pretty much standard for a lot of those top 10 tokens in terms of like almost $100 billion market cap, at least for the giant ones. Anywhere between like 50 to 100 billion is safe to bet on. But again, it does have high risk tied to it because we don't know where this market's going to go. But in my opinion, I do think that long term, HBAR will hit $100 billion in market cap simply because of the giant that it is becoming, especially when we compare it to Ethereum, for example. But in the next cycle run, where could HBAR really go? Honestly, as we really kind of look at this space, I do think that $5 trillion is a safe bet for the total market cap because we hit $3 trillion already. And as we do look at a few valuations over here, for example, 1% at $5 trillion, I could see HBAR trading anywhere between roughly $1 to $1.50 in the next major run up. Conservatively, I do think that we could very well see the $2 to $3 range. And by the way, as we really kind of look at this, we have to take into accountability the possibility of having a lot more token unlocks. Even if we are at 50 billion total supply, $2 would be a $100 billion market cap. We do know that most of these tokens, especially ones that don't deserve it, like for example, Dogecoin, have hit near $100 billion in market capitalization. With everything that has been happening around Hedera, I do think that HBAR does have a great chance at hitting $100 billion in market cap. The big question though is, will it actually happen? We have no idea. But I do think that $1 for HBAR will happen. I have zero doubt about that. And all we really need to do is wait for it to happen. We don't know where this space is going to go within the next couple months. We don't know where HBAR is going to really be trading at. All we can really do is take a major guess on this. Again, I really kind of back it with the idea that, when we compare market dominance, HBAR really has only outreach to roughly about 0.3% dominance. Are we expecting it to double that or at least go to 1% market dominance? And honestly, I could see it hitting 1% market dominance. And if that is the case, and if we are trading at around roughly $5 trillion in market capitalization, then we would be sitting at about roughly 50 billion in market cap. And just to kind of give you guys an updated view with the circulating supply right now, that is roughly $1.50 for HBAR, which I think is pretty fair in terms of the value on HBAR right now. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. With that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Peace out.